Okay, so we logged on to Fiverr and bought 3 different texture packs, one for $5, one for $20, and one for $35. Now, first of all, I thought these were all actually pretty good. Don't worry, all the links to the packs will be down in the description. And without further ado, enjoy. Also, we're hosting weekly events on our Discord server, so go join that, link in description.
All right, first pack up is the $5 pack. Parccer, what are you saying?
Yes, sir. I actually like this one quite a bit for $5. I think this is an absolute banger. I think that all the textures go together super well. Like, it's one thing to, you know, just like take a bunch of textures that already exist for $5. I wouldn't really expect much more from a pack creator, but he did a really fantastic job at choosing textures that complement each other and just fit together and work really well. So I think this pack is actually amazing.
Yeah, and one of the really nice things about the pack specifically would be the GUI and the hotbar and everything. It honestly is a super clean layout, and it honestly goes really well with everything else in the pack as well. Similar how everything else blends together. But yeah, no, honestly, the GUI, the hotbar and everything honestly is super clean, and it's definitely one of the best aspects of the pack.
Now, the other thing that I do want to talk about here is the wool. It's absolutely fantastic. I haven't seen personally this wool in another pack before. I wouldn't be surprised if this pack creator did choose a different, oh god.
Another thing that's kind of nice about the pack, it's nothing too crazy, but it's pretty clean, is honestly just the skies. The morning sky's pretty standard. It's been in a few packs, but it honestly does, again, go well with the pack. And another pack, the nighttime isn't bad. It's not like my favorite type of pack in general, favorite sky in general, but it's pretty clean. Even though Parcer's showing it, I can go ahead and show you now. It's just not my favorite. A lot of it's kind of nice. The only part that's not great is back here. The sun is a little bright, but overall, the skies are fairly solid for the pack. So there are a few little problems with the pack. They're not too big of deals, but they are just little issues, you could say. And one of them is actually just the particles in general. The crit alone isn't actually too bad. Just the sharp particles, personally, I'm not a big fan of the plain black circles. But the particles, again, aren't like the greatest thing in the world, but again, they're not too bad. Now, one of the only other kind of small issues with the pack is honestly just the fact that, I don't know if you've noticed yourself, Parccer, but the actual, you can see here, the bring animation, it's actually a little, whoa, hello, sir. It's a little scuffed, and here, I can show it better here. So most of the first part of it is fine, but when you get to the final quarter of that circle, it actually isn't timed the same. What is, hell, sure.
So what would you say your like overall thoughts are for this
overall,
pack?
Again, it's really good for its value. I mean, for $5 only, the pack is super clean and everything. All the textures work well together. So I'd probably give this rating overall, if I would recommend getting the package, probably a 9 out of 10 personally.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Absolutely fantastic, especially for the price. I think I'd probably give it an 8.5 out of 10. Definitely super close. I mean, there are the couple cons that we noted for the most part. Absolutely fantastic pack. Alrighty, this is the $20 pack. Zook, what are your first thoughts here?
I mean, overall, again, similar to the first pack, it's fairly clean just off the first look, you know. Looks pretty nice, everything, the skies and everything overall.
Alrighty, here I am at yellow, and I will actually take this moment. Look at this morning sky. Absolutely gorgeous. I've seen a sky similar to this in a couple other packs before, but this sky specifically, I'm not quite sure what the pack creator did here, but it's absolutely like fantastic. I think he like boosted the saturation or something. I don't know, it just pops a little bit more than the original that I've seen before.
Right, and I actually want to add on to that and say the nighttime sky as well is so nice as well. The color palette's really cool, and the nice effect of the trees and the shooting stars all really look nice as well for the nighttime sky.
Now, the other thing that actually jumped out at me quite a bit here is the tools. Specifically, this pickaxe I think looks pretty nice, but I think the tools here are just absolutely fantastic. Oh, who the heck broke that? What on earth? Ow, wait. Someone? I thought I saw someone there. Please, Gray, you're so mean. Here.
So we have to hurry because there's teams spinning right now.
Anyway, I don't know why that green guy just walked off there, but as I go over here, the one other thing that I want to talk about is the ores and the ingots. Now, I do wish that I had a couple on here right now, but we'll do like a little pack showcase in the background that you guys can look at. Oh my god, this guy's got a...
Now, one really nice thing about the pack is actually the diamond palette. Now, as you can kind of see here, the diamonds, and this goes for like the armor and the tools and the swords and everything, it's just such a nice color of blue, and honestly, it goes super well with the pack. Turn around, there's guy.
Hello, sir. You think you can just pass like that? No, you can't. No, you can't. That's what I thought. Get out of here, White. Sorry, that was a little toxic. I didn't mean it. You're a lovely player, White, and I love you. Okay, I'm here trying to rush green team, and I honestly don't know how to do that because they do have a bow. But I will take this opportunity to say one downside to the pack that I thought was really strange is... Oh, he's got a fireball. Please. Wait, hold up. I'm just gonna sweat real quick before I commentate. Get back here. You can left click, sir. It's allowed. Anyway, okay. As I was saying, the ores in this pack are actually not all changed. Like, half of them are really nice. But the other half of them, like, I'm sure it's showing up on the screen right now, are just, like, not there. I'm not really sure what's up with that. They weren't changed. So it would have been nice to have that little bit, but it's okay.
Actually, and another thing that was kind of weird and not amazing in my eyes is actually the particles are default, like the sharp and crit particles are default. And it's not that's one of the only few things. There are a few other default particles that are in the pack, which I'm not a massive fan of, but that's one of them. Another thing would actually be the potions as well, but there are a few things that I would have changed because they're a lot default.
The one other like kind of nitpicky thing I have that I would place in the con category is that the hearts and the hunger bar for this pack just don't quite fit. They're very unique. I like the way that they look. I think they'd be really interesting in a different pack, but the overall theme of the pack in general, it just doesn't quite work for some reason. I don't know,
Yeah,
the vibes just don't match. So that is nitpicky, like I said, but I would place that in the con category. But
I'd agree.
What do you think your like overall thoughts for the pack are? How would you rate it?
Overall, I mean, again, I actually really like the skies and everything of the pack. And again, the pack is actually, I would definitely call it fair for its value. But I don't know like how amazing it is for Bed Wars in like specific, if you know what I mean. But there are one thing, which is that we did have the option of 4 revisions. So like some of the small things that we had an issue with, we could have had revised.
That's right, and we did not take advantage of that.
Right.
You know, we just chose to be fair for all the packs. Just we chose the original version. No revisions were taken.
Right. But with all this considered, I'd probably give it around a 7 out of 10. I think that's probably fair.
That's solid. I think I'm pretty close to that. I'd give it a 6.5, just because, like you said, it doesn't quite fit Bed Wars super well, because a lot of those blocks were still default, and we did request a Bed Wars pack. So that's the only reason I would knock that down just a little bit. But yeah, I'd give that a solid 6.5 out of 10.
Alright, here we are with the $35 pack. You know what you gotta say about it so far, off rip?
You know, to be honest, the first thing that absolutely struck me about this pack was the color palette. Absolutely fantastic. A lot of the items are pretty good. I think it's pretty solid. I like it. Very unique. A lot of unique textures, which I think that's super interesting. Definitely would expect that from $35. So overall, pretty good.
Now, one really quick thing about the pack that's really clean is actually the beds. As you can kind of see here, the team, well, they're putting wood now, but it was kind of open for a second there. As you can still see, oh, where did you come from? But yeah, you can see here, the beds are very, very clean for the pack. I have to admit, it's a very nice little add-on, you could say, for the pack. Yeah, for sure, beds are super clean, super nice in the pack.
And the other thing that I want to draw your attention to right here is the diamond. I just picked up a couple from the diamond gen right here as I'm rushing gray. But the diamonds are just absolutely fantastic. This item just drew my attention in general. I think that the pack creator did an absolutely fantastic job with this diamond. Yeah, just very impressed with that in general. So very cool. Oh my, that poor gray player. What on earth just happened to that guy? As I rush pink here, there's one other item that actually stood out to me quite a bit, and it is the golden apple. Oh, please. Oh, I thought I was going to walk off there for, not walk off, but get hit off there for a sec. Oh, wait. Wait, is this just free? Okay, anyway, but you can see I'll eat the golden apple right here. Very, very nice texture. I'm impressed with that one. Can I just low ground these guys? That's cool. Lovely.
Now, another specific part of the pack that's actually fairly nice is actually the planks. I don't know what it is about them. They honestly look really nice, and one of the parts of the packs that fit well with almost everything, which is what kind of blends everything super well together. Now, one of the big issues that I would say that pack does have is just the wool. Now, the wool is default, which can look good in some packs, but honestly, in this pack, in my eyes, it just doesn't really fit as well as all the rest of the textures do together, personally. Now, I do think it's not awful in general, it's kind of one of those things that it definitely could be cleaner, and it's not the #1 thing in the pack.
Now, the one other thing that I would say actually is the particles are not the greatest either. They're unique, and I'll give the pack creator that. I think they're pretty cool, but they just don't match the overall vibe of the pack. I'm not quite sure like why they're music. Note this guy is shifting underneath me. I'm not really sure what to do about that. Oh wait. Just S-tap their life away. The other thing is, just like the wall, a lot of the blocks are default as well. And just for a pack that is $35, I would really expect there to be just a little bit more, like, oh my god, a little more interesting textures and a little bit more work on the blocks there. Now, the one other thing, again, it's a little nitpicky, but the sky in this pack, as you can see as I'm bridging, the bottom of it's just super pixelated. I kind of like the creativity. I like the idea behind this. I think it's kind of interesting to try to include like a view of the like Earth, I guess, as the bottom of the sky. But overall, I think it just didn't quite turn out that well. It is very pixelated. It just looks strange, especially like over there. I'm not quite sure what I'm looking at there.
That and I have to say that the morning sky is also just really bland. Like it's like besides the void, like looking up straight at the map, it's honestly just almost just plain white. There is like a little bit, I mean plain blue. There's a little bit of white throughout it, but it's almost just specifically plain middle. But it's all specifically just plain blue. Where they?
I think gray. I'll try to hold them gray.
Gray? Okay.
Yeah, they're probably gonna let my fireball jump past.
Oh, I'm void. I'm just gonna void. I'll just void.
While I'm holding them though, the one thing that I will say, and overall, I think this is my like kind of general take on the pack. But it's just like there are a lot of unique textures that I really like, but in general, the pack just doesn't quite fit together. Something's missing. The color palette's really nice, the tools fit together, but when it comes to the blocks and everything else, I think that it just needs a little bit more work. And again, this pack, like the others that we've had, or like the last one, the $20 one, does have a couple revisions that we could have used, so we could have made a couple changes there. But I think that in general, this pack just could have used a little bit more cohesiveness here. Come on. Please.
Okay.
That was the most chaotic fight of my life. What the heck? But what would you rate this pack? What do you think it is?
Rate it? Again,
general thoughts.
See, I think the pack alone isn't too bad, but I think for $35, I kind of have to like go into the equation. So speaking of in general, like going off the price and everything, I'd probably just say a 6 out of 10. But that's just because it's $35, so it's kind of high expectations, you know what I mean? But that's what I know
exactly what you mean. I think I'm going to agree with you there, actually. I would give it a 6 out of 10 as well. A lot of interesting, unique textures, but the vibe of the pack just doesn't quite come together. Something's missing. I don't know. And for a pack that, that cost that much, I agree. I would expect just a little bit more in terms of the overall cohesiveness of the pack.